When it rains, water runs off streets, parking lots, roofs, and other hard surfaces. It flows to the nearest storm drain or drainage ditch, picking up any pollutants in its path. The storm drain directs the water to the nearest body of water like a creek or stream. This water is called stormwater runoff. Stormwater runoff contains many pollutants, including motor oil, fuel, pesticides and fertilizers, soap, solvents, antifreeze, trash, disease-causing bacteria, pet waste, construction waste, and litter. The pollutants picked up in stormwater runoff flow directly into our lakes, rivers, and creeks. Storm drains are not part of the sanitary sewer system that sends wastewater to our utility plants. Storm drains simply pipe stormwater into the nearest waterway, and nothing but rain belongs in the storm drain. The pollutants in stormwater runoff can kill aquatic life, and they pollute the rivers and lakes that supply our drinking water. The more polluted it is, the more it costs to make the water safe for human use. The city of Winston-Salem is required to reduce the amount of pollutants reaching our local waterways. In this short video, you will learn what we, as city employees, must do to protect our waterways. Best management practices, called BMPs for short, are job-related procedures that city employees must follow to minimize stormwater pollution. These BMPs can range from how we wash our city vehicles, to how we clean up spills, to how we mow and maintain our city parks, to how we repair city streets. Let's look at the BMPs that city employees should practice.
Vehicle and equipment maintenance involves many materials that pollute stormwater: fuel, lubricants, paints, hydraulic fluid, solvents, antifreeze, battery acid, and more. If we do not take precautions, rainwater can wash these substances into the storm drain. Conduct your vehicle or equipment maintenance where materials will not be exposed to stormwater, preferably indoors. If you must leave a vehicle outside for maintenance, make sure all nearby storm drains have been blocked off and protected from automotive fluids.
Move a leaking vehicle or piece of equipment indoors, or drain the leaking fluid into a drip pan and properly dispose of the fluid. Clean up any fluid that has leaked out of a vehicle or equipment using a dry cleanup method. Use an absorbent, like oil dry or a sorbent soccer pad, that can be found in your facility or your vehicle's spill kit, and then sweep it up. Do not wash down the leaked fluid. If you cannot get to it right away, or if you're in the field, place a drip pan or whatever you have available under the leak to catch any leaking fluid until you can get it indoors or to fleet services. Properly dispose of any fluids in the drip pan. Drip pans are a simple and very effective BMP.
Washing vehicles and equipment also presents challenges. The wash water can pick up a variety of pollutants, including soap, heavy metals, rust, and oil and grease that will run off into the nearest storm drain. Wash vehicles or other equipment where the wash water is contained, such as the car wash and the washing shed at the Johnson Municipal Services Center. Do not allow any wash water to go to a storm drain. Do not wash or steam clean vehicles or equipment where the wash water is not contained, like in a parking lot or driveway.
Spills are a common problem because anything that falls on the ground can be picked up by stormwater. The first step in spill prevention is to identify potential spill areas at your facility or worksite and where those areas drain. Common spill locations include loading and unloading areas, storage areas, maintenance and processing areas, fueling stations, and waste disposal areas.
Spills can also happen while you're working in the field. At your work site, make sure you know the location of the nearest grate or drain so you can take prompt measures to block it off in the event of a spill. Most fixed work sites, such as the Fleet Services Maintenance Garage or the wastewater and water treatment plants, have spill kits. Most city vehicles should also have spill kits for use in the field. Make sure you know where the spill kit is at your work site or in your city vehicle. Make sure the spill kit is easily accessible. It should not be on the opposite side of the facility or in a vehicle not at your work site.
Spills can occur while fueling vehicles and equipment. Keep the nozzle securely in the pipe. Stay with the vehicle while fueling to make sure it all goes in the tank, and never top off the tank.
In the event of a spill at your work site, you may have to act quickly, especially if the spill is a fast-running liquid. All spills need to be reported to Stormwater and Erosion Control. The cardinal rule for spills is simply never hose down a spill. In fact, never hose down any parking lot or other paved area. Clean up spills right away. Salt, fertilizer, hydraulic oils, and lubricants usually can be cleaned up easily. Use dry cleanup methods only. Sweep up granular materials. If it's a liquid spill, use absorbents and sweep them up.
If there is any potential for a spill to reach a grate or drain, act immediately to prevent this from happening. Most of our city facilities and city vehicles have spill kits that should have absorbent socks or pads, oil dry, and other materials needed to clean up a small spill. If a spill kit can't be located, use whatever is available in your job site or vehicle to prevent the spill from reaching the storm drain. For example, you can use hay bales or a tarp to cover the storm drain, and call your supervisor for assistance.
If the spill is from a broken fuel or hydraulic line while in the field, use a container to catch the leaking fluid. Or place absorbent like oil dry or absorbent sock or pad from your spill kit below the broken line until you can get help with the vehicle or equipment. Dispose of the waste properly.
If you are unsure about how to contain and clean up a spill, call your supervisor immediately. If the spill involves hazardous material, you will have to get help. Take these steps. 1. Call your supervisor. 2. Dial 911 and request a hazardous materials response team. 3. Call Stormwater and Erosion Control.
Good housekeeping maintains a clean and orderly work environment. This reduces the possibility of accidental spills and other safety hazards. Also, well-maintained material and chemical storage areas reduce the possibility of stormwater mixing with pollutants. To practice good housekeeping, maintain dry and clean floors and ground surfaces.
A checklist of regular housekeeping activities is a very effective BMP, if you use it. An organized record-keeping system should be used to schedule and document good housekeeping inspections. Storm drains at your city facility should be inspected regularly to determine if they need to be cleaned. Always pick up and properly dispose of litter, garbage, and waste material at your work site or your facility regularly. And vacuum or sweep up daily.
Identify and label all drums and containers. Secure drums and containers and check them frequently for leaks or spills. And store drums and containers away from direct traffic routes to prevent accidental spills. Regularly check to ensure that raw materials, waste materials, or products are not coming in contact with stormwater.
Keep work materials organized. There is no reason to ever hose off any parking lot or other paved work area. The water will wash waste products and pollutants into a storm drain.
Good housekeeping is especially important if you work with toxic or hazardous materials. Identify all toxic and hazardous materials that are stored or handled on site, and have written procedures for handling toxic and hazardous materials.
Adhering to proper street maintenance procedures is especially important because of the sheer number of storm drains found along the 1,020 miles of streets in Winston-Salem. When working on or around our city streets, follow these BMPs. Never sweep debris into a storm drain or a drainage ditch. Take care to keep waste from getting into gutters or storm drains. Protect storm drains when you are working near them. Do not saw or cut pavement before or during rain. And clean up debris or waste and dispose of it properly.
When storing materials, it's important to remember that any materials or waste stored outdoors can be a source of pollution if not managed properly. Rainfall can wash off ink, oils, food scraps, and debris from dumpsters and garbage bins. Keep the dumpsters at your facility covered at all times. Use a tarp if necessary. Never put liquids into dumpsters. Dumpsters are not watertight and liquids will leak out. Install dumpster plugs and replace dumpsters with rusted bottoms.
Portable containers such as buckets, pails, or bagged materials should never be stored for long periods outdoors, unless the container is made for outdoor storage. If materials must be stored outside, cover them with a waterproof tarp.
Parks, golf courses, and roadside planting beds can also create stormwater pollution. Whenever possible, mow so the clippings are discharged into the grass, not the street. If this is not possible, blow the clippings back into the grass. Never blow grass clippings into a storm drain. Likewise, never dump clippings in a drainage ditch where they can be carried away by runoff.
Pesticides and fertilizers can pollute runoff, especially if applied in excess or incorrectly. Always follow the manufacturer's directions. Do not apply any chemical before, during, or immediately after rain unless directed by the manufacturer. Spot spraying of pesticides is better than broadcast spraying.
Establish chemical-free buffers around streams and lakes. These buffers are typically a minimum of 10 feet from the water body where possible, unless otherwise posted. Chemicals should never be used on stream banks or in waterways. If fertilizer or other granular material falls on a paved area, sweep it up or blow it back into the grass.
In addition to following best management practices, you have another important role in fighting stormwater pollution: detection. As a city employee, you are in an excellent position to watch for illicit discharges to storm drains.
An illicit discharge is anything that is not rain going to a storm drain. Here are some things to watch for: water or other liquid flowing into a storm drain when it is not raining.
Anyone pouring or washing something into a storm drain.
Staining or other weird smells in and around a storm drain indicates that someone dumped something in it.
A plastic pipe or hose going to a storm drain needs to be reported immediately.
So please do your part. Report any storm drain issues by calling the Stormwater Division or CityLink 311.
Remember, nothing but rain belongs in the storm drain.
Each city employee has a responsibility to comply with the requirements to prevent stormwater pollution.
Follow the best management practices you've learned today, and you'll be in good shape.